Today I'll be doing my 1-year review on the Cafelat robot. But before we do that, I just want to say welcome to Cabin's Coffee Corner. This channel is designed to help you choose the coffee gear you want to brew with at home. If you find this video useful, please like and subscribe. That really helps me continue to produce content. If you're looking at purchasing any of this gear, please use the affiliate links below where I'll make a slight amount of commission at no extra charge to you. And lastly, I do have an Instagram account called Cabin's Coffee Corner. You're more than welcome to follow me there as well. Let's go ahead and dive into it. This is the Cafelat robot, the Barista Edition. It starts at $450. With the robot hands, which are stainless steel, these are 3D printed, but nevertheless look the exact same. Outside of the aluminum finish on the other ones, but these would be $30 additional, and then this, buying the self-leveling tamper, which will give you a nicer piece of plastic and metal at the top here, would be another additional $70, which that'll put you up to about the $448 range for the added accessories. I also did a nice little mod and added a Horween leather piece right here, and then I also added the naked portafilter gauge with an attachment for the SEP, the Smart Espresso Profiler, which hooks up with the Cafelat, which allows you to basically flow profile, where I could see statistical charts of all of the pressure, the time, and the weight when hooked up with a Cafelat scale, so I can basically duplicate the shots from shot to shot and from machine to machine. I replaced the gauge pretty quickly because this is the one that comes with it, and it is very, very hard to read when it's placed on the side like this. You could modify it and move it here, but I'm getting a lot bigger of a diameter of a gauge than the one here. So basically this has been a great machine. I've owned this for a year. I've used it fairly regularly. I moved it to my office for a while and used it there. A couple things that I want to start off that I don't like, and one of these is this. This is the spout that clips onto the bottom of it. This is a completely optional thing to use, but the thing is, I like it, but the problem with it is because it's stainless steel, what happens is it sucks all the heat from your espresso, so it makes your espresso fairly cold if you don't choose to preheat this before you brew through it. One of the huge plus sides to the robot is the fact that you do not have to preheat anything in here. You can pull a shot here, and it's been pretty well with it. The self-leveling tamper, I think both of these, every accessory I have here outside of the tray is completely necessity, in my opinion. The self-leveling tamper really helps you get a good even tamp when the basket is as deep as this one is here. If you have the standard tamper here, it's very, very hard to tamp because you'll always be at a slight angle. The pressure gauge was very worthless to see and read, and without the hands, it is very uncomfortable to put all your weight down and pull and put pressure on it. With that, you have to get the hands, otherwise it really hurts. You can still pull a shot without them, but even with the hands, I find this incredibly uncomfortable to pull a shot with. It drives me nuts that this is not a standard 58 millimeter portafilter, but it is pretty close, which means you get really good shots with it, but you can't use any accessories in here. I love how easy it is to basically just simply put this on, tighten it down, pull a shot, and you lift up and then simply just turn this out and tilt it just a little bit, and you're good to go with your shots here. And the cleanup is super easy. There might be a little bit of water in here, but you can simply just dump that down the drain, knock out your puck, and it's very good that way, and you don't have to worry too much about things. Overall, I think the shots are very incredible with this machine. I've never been disappointed with the quality of shots that I've had out of it. However, for the price point, I wish that there was a way to figure out how to make these arms more comfortable. For those of you who've used the Rock espresso maker before a long time ago, those had wider arms, so I felt like that was way more comfortable to take the pressure with your hands and pull down on the levers. But these hands are they just hurt no matter what, especially if you grind a little too fine and you want to try and save your shot. You might ramp up a little higher than 9 bars and go back down in order to at least get your shot out in a time frame. I find myself doing that very often, and when you do that, it really hurts. When you're in the 6 to 9 bars, it's okay. but going back to back and pulling this on a regular basis is something that I have not been happy with over the past year because of the pain. Versus the lever, sorry for reviewing a robot and wearing a flare t-shirt, but the lever on the flares are a lot more comfortable to pull and sustain a higher bar of pressure than the robot. So I think the robot is great for somebody who wants a simple machine that doesn't take up a lot of space that they can pull out of a cabinet, put on their shelf, and then pull a shot with. I think it's well worth it. For somebody who wants a lot of control with their espresso, you have the plus side of changing the bars of pressure on the flow with this that you don't really get on cheaper entry-level machines. And I'm talking about machines that are like $1,700 to $2,000 in there. You're not going to get as good of shots as you are with this $450 machine. Even at the stock part, even without the gauge, you're not going to get near as good shots with expensive machines as you are with this one. I have a Rocket Apartamento sitting right behind me, right behind the camera, and I believe this one pulls better shots than that, and that says a lot about the quality of this machine. Everything feels so durable. There's no plastic anywhere on it. The base has silicone on it so it doesn't slide around when you're pulling shot. Like, this is a solid machine, and I love the build quality of it. However, the comfort level is a huge drawback, and the gauge is a huge drawback. The gauge, there's obviously solutions, but this was a hefty solution. Because I got the SEP attachment in there, I think this was $150 to add this entire gauge setup. I can't really remember. It was a year ago. It was one of the first things I did because of how much I didn't like that on there. However, if you lean forward like this, it's a lot easier to read the gauge if you have it backwards like that. Overall, I love the looks of this thing. It's a nice little eye catcher. A lot of people wonder what it is. But it's something that I don't see myself, like, it's a joy to use, but it's a painful joy to use, if that makes at all sense. I love the looks of it, I love the feel of it, but the comfort of it while pulling a shot is just not a good experience. Do you have one of these? Like, there's a huge community on this. Maybe somebody's made up of better ones. There's different 3D printed versions of hands that go up a little bit that would maybe make a little bit of a difference on there. But I would do a lot of research on maybe just trying to figure out how to make these hands a little bit better. If someone can come up with a solution to that, then I think this is a well worth it machine. Because there's already a solution for the gauge, so we're just looking for this one solution for the hands, and I think it's worth it. Unless you want the 58 commercial grade accessories and things like that, this machine is well worth it. So simply all you do to make espresso with is you basically pour grounds into this basket. I typically use a needle distribution tool, which this is a phenomenal machine to do because of the high baskets on it. You don't have to worry about grounds coming out, and you don't have to worry about a funnel. You do that, you tamp it down with a self-leveling tamper, whatever tamper you have, and then you simply drop this screen in. And I like to tilt it to run water on the side of it a little bit so it doesn't directly hit the grounds as harshly. And then fill it up almost to the top, lift up the hands, slide that in there, and pull down. When you're done with your shot, pull up, turn it, and I like to just kind of tilt it at an angle, and then I'll pull off the basket, and you're good to go there, and you can just clean that up whenever you get around to it. Great machine, love it. If you have any questions about it, if there's something I didn't answer about it, this is also the mat that it comes with. If you can do two sides with it, holds the tamper well, and the basket almost fits, or the portafilter almost fits, but the basket fits nicely for you to be able to tamp it and just simply slide in the basket. Great machine. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I have a lot of other comparisons. I'm comparing this with a Flare 58 too, so you can see that. But overall, thank you so much for watching, and if you like this video, please like and subscribe.